Now, if I would have to go and pick two of my favorite things in pop culture where the answer is not animation or Disney, I would have to say it would be Pokemon and the Muppets. Now, with that said, when I thought about it, I kind of had this sudden realization and a crazy idea that I want to do. Like, why not try to go and mix Pokemon with Muppets? I mean, the element is already there. I mean, like, you got, like, crazy animal-like characters. Why not make them Pokemon style? I tried looking it up online, and I was honestly really surprised to find that there isn't a lot of people that did so. So I figured, why not? I mean, with the crazy variety that I have of both Pokemon and Muppets, why not go and do some crazy concoctions on my own by mixing the two together? Make some kind of Poke-Muppet, if you will. So, with all that said, let's get things started. Now, I have to admit that choosing which Pokemon for which Muppet wasn't always an easy task. Sure, I managed to figure out some of them immediately, but others required a lot more time and a lot more research to see which ones I would connect. So with that said, let's start off with the main frog himself, Kermit. I can't really say that there are frog Pokemon that immediately clicked with Kermit. Sure, I could go with Politoed since he is a green frog, but there isn't much resemblance outside of that. So after researching a few toads, I decided to go with the Smash Bros. Star himself, Greninja. Not just because of some of the same proportions, but also the tongue scarf can work out as his signature color. So, for Miss Piggy, you would expect I would go with a pig Pokemon like Grumpig or anyone from the Tepig evolutionary line. Well, that would be a little too easy. What I decided to do instead is touch upon her diva side and look into some of the more feminine Pokemon like Jinx and Gardevoir. However, with Piggy's singing capabilities, I felt like Meloetta would fit her perfectly. Plus the factor that it's a legendary Pokemon gives a nice touch to her superstar attitude. Next, we go to that furry funny man, Fozzie Bear. I didn't really have much of an option here since all the bear Pokemon are few and vastly different from each other. In that case, might as well go with Ursaring. Admittedly, now that I added a clearer muzzle on him, it does seem like I turned Fozzie into Yogi Bear with intimidating claws. Moving on to Gonzo, this was rather tough, since nobody really knows what he is in the first place. All I could do was just search for Pokemon with a significant nose. And at that point, the closest thing I could go with is Hypno. By the way, since I am doing a project like this, it was pretty much unavoidable that I have to include Pikachu somewhere. So why not give the part to Rizzo and we'll call it even. Moving on to Sam the Eagle, before I went into the obvious choice, I double checked on other bird-type Pokemon to see if any would match the same beak as Sam's. Well, I wasn't satisfied with any of them, so let's just stick with Braviary. Next up, we have Animal. Originally, I was very close to turning him into Primeape, since they both seem like furballs of destruction. But then I looked around and found Infernape, where not only does he match the anatomy of Animal, but also the fire type feels like it would suit him more. Moving on to the Swedish Chef, this is definitely one of the harder ones by turning a human character into a creature. The only clue I decided to go with is someone with a mustache. There isn't a lot, but one actually did fit the bill. Not only does Alakazam have a good mustache and a long nose that go with it, but the spoons that he holds is perfect for the chef. Another tough one to figure out was actually Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. Outside of his lab coat, he is a very simple Muppet with a structure that's more like a snowman with a round body and a round head. I checked upon which Pokemon would have a simply rounded figure, and I found that Quagsire would work out well. As for his assistant Beaker, with the shape of his head and the functionalities that it has, there's no way I could not make him Diglett. I originally thought about doing the Alolan version with a bit of hair on top, but I think going regular suits him more. Finally, I decided to add Statler and Waldorf as a bonus because the image of them as Team Rocket members is just too perfect for a project like this. Add them all together and you end up with the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Muppetational crossover I've ever created. And there you have it, guys, my concoction of bringing the Muppets into the Pokemon world, thus creating the Pokemuppets. Now, like I said in the beginning, there is a huge variety of both Pokemon and Muppets out there, and maybe you might have a different idea than mine about which Muppet and which Pokemon should fuse together. So I'm definitely open to hear your thoughts about it. Like, it could be a fun little discussion that we could go and create. But for now, the little piece that I did right here, I'm honestly really glad with it, and it definitely was a fun project trying to mix two of my favorite things together. So, with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you later, dudes!